Hey Manigang, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Keny again. If you are new here, you are very welcome. Subscribe below, click the little bell and join the family. And if you're already part of this family though, you know I appreciate. So today you can see in the title, but you can also see on my face. My face is just a bare face, no makeup. Oh, that's a lie. Actually, I have just foundation on, nothing more. No eyebrow done, no lashes, no nothing else, just foundation, because that's what this video is going to be about. So I'm going to give you guys some tips of how to make your foundation look like skin and avoid cakey foundation. So if you want to learn more about that, some good tips, then stay tuned and let's jump right into this video.
It's Keny.
So first things first, one thing that makes your foundation cakey or dry is actually dry skin. So if you are not taking care of your skin, then stay away from foundation, okay, or makeup generally. So my face is clean right now. I have just washed my face, and I washed it minutes ago before setting up everything, so it's kind of dry. I haven't put no moisturizer, nothing. So the first thing I do after washing my face with a good cleanser is I will go in with a toner, and I am using a very basic toner, Gezicht Wasser from DM Balea. And I have been using it for a while and I have no problems with it so far. It's really does a good job. So I'm just going to use some of that and clean my skin, and also to put back the moisture which I washed out of the skin. After doing that, I go in with a moisturizer. Guys, there are better moisturizer out here, so I don't even want to show you the one I use, but it's also from Balea. It's from the drugstore, same brand, and this is just the cheapest moisturizer I have, and that is what I'm kind of using now while trying to figure out my skincare routine, which is not bad, but I feel like I need better products. So I'm going to use this. Yeah, I'm using my fingers because it's my face. I'm going to add all that moisture in the skin. Then I go in with sunscreen. The one I use is this one from Black Girl Sunscreen. It's actually been good so far. I like it. So sunscreen is very important for your skin, especially if you have hyperpigmentation like me. Even if you don't, it's really essential for you to use a sunscreen, because even on days where the sun is not burning hot, there's still UV rays that come through, so you want to just protect your skin from that. So that's what I do every time. So this actually is a moisturizing sunscreen, so it does have, like, it's infused with jojoba and avocado, so you can also use it as a moisturizer, but I just prefer to use it on top of my moisturizer. Sometimes on a day where I'm getting ready, like really quickly to go to work or to rush out, then I wash my face and I use this as my moisturizer and sunscreen, and I just go. So yeah, you can decide how you want to use it depending on your own skincare routine. But yeah, today I'm using both my moisturizer and this sunscreen. Yeah, you have to work it into the skin. Ooh, my skin feels so moisturized. And I like to put some on my neck also. I know I look oily, okay? Excuse me. But I'm looking moisturized, you know, fresh. I'm looking like I'm glowing from inside my soul, you know? So that is what all of this process does. So now you have prepped your skin. The skin is looking as moisturized and good as it's supposed to be. One thing I always advise is to use a primer. I need to follow my own advice because sometimes I just rush and I forget the primer. Now after applying my primer, I'm looking a little bit more matte. So now I can apply my foundation. So at this point, sometimes what I do just for long-lasting foundation effect, is I am going to go in with a setting powder and set my primer before applying my foundation. So now I'm going to go in with my Keny Puff Puff Beauty Sponge, and I'm going to use the bottom of it, dip it into a powder that is closer to my skin tone, just a little bit, and I'm going to use that to set my primer lightly. At this point, sometimes I don't care if it doesn't look good. Trust the process. So now my face is ready for my foundation, which I am going to apply now using this beauty sponge from Xemilux.com. This is actually how it comes. It has a flat bottom to make it easier to apply your foundation, and this is what it looks like. So it's called the Puff Puff Sponge Foundation Shape, and this is an older one which I have been using, and this is wet, this is dry, so you can see how different it is. When it gets wet, it gets like double the size. But so this is what I'm going to be using. It's super soft. It's very, 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 very soft. Yeah, so I'm going to be using this to apply my foundation. So what I usually do is I'll put it on the sponge or on my skin. I'm going to put my one pump here, and I'm going to start applying on my face, and I usually just tap the product in. You see the minimal product that I applied has covered this part of the face, and that is really why I love these sponges. It just makes me use less product. So this is how my foundation looks right now, and if I was just going to pick up some stuff from the grocery store or so, I would just go out like this, maybe even without concealer, without anything else, because my skin just looks, you know, really nice and flawless. Okay, but this is how my foundation looks after I do my process. So these are the points I'm going to give you. I'm going to give you, I think, 4 or 5 points how you can make your own foundation to not look cakey, look like skin, and look flawless. So first things first, hydrate the skin. Just the way you saw me doing, hydration is key. Make sure that your skin is moisturized. You put a good moisturizer on. Do not skip sunscreen, because sunscreen is super good for protecting your skin from the UV rays. So do not skip that. Make sure you have a good one, and then make sure you use a primer. Obviously the primer is not part of the hydration, but the primer is important because sometimes the primer, most of the time, the primer makes your makeup look good at the end. So use a primer. Those are the steps. So wash face, just have a clean face, and then moisturize the face. Apply your sunscreen on your skin, and then next thing is primer. And then after the primer, you can now go in with your foundation. So like you saw me doing, I do the powder step, but then if you have dry skin, maybe you will skip that powder step because that would dry your skin, and apply your foundation, and you are good to go. Your foundation will look like skin. So the second thing that I would say is get good foundation. So you don't want to get cheap quality foundation. Even from the drugstore, there are good quality foundations. So just make sure that you get a good quality, light, medium to full coverage. So if you have a full coverage foundation, so opt for like a medium to full coverage, because most of the time full coverage, if you don't know how to use it, it might end up looking cakey. And if you're using a light to medium foundation, make sure that you use 1 to highest 2 layers on your skin, because the more layers of product or foundation that you put on your skin, the cakier it would look. So just make sure that you get a foundation that is good quality, where you need just 1 pump to do the magic on your face just the way you want it to be, and then you don't have to pack on more layers of foundation on the skin. So yeah, the next point is make sure to use less powder, little to no powder. I mean, you cannot do all your whole makeup without powder, but try to reduce how much powder you use. If you're somebody who notices that every time you do your makeup, your foundation, your makeup looks cakey, then reduce how much powder you use. Maybe stop baking and just put a little bit just where necessary. So if you are putting if you're somebody who normally will set your foundation with a whole layer of powder, maybe you don't need to do that anymore. Or when you're setting your concealer and you're like baking, maybe you just have to not do that anymore and just press the powder into the skin. And make sure you don't have too much powder on the skin, because obviously cream and powder, when you add it together, is cake. Just the way, like if you're in your kitchen trying to bake a cake, it's definitely your flour and liquids which you add on it, and then it's cakey, okay? So you want to avoid that by just making sure that you use the powder is just where necessary. You do not have One very important thing that people forget or neglect is the tools you use to apply your makeup. So for foundation, there are people that prefer to use their fingers. I do not like to see that. That irks me, and I'm just like, wah, no. I cannot be using my fingers with foundation, like, nah. But then there are people that use their fingers. There are people that use a makeup brush like this one, a dense brush, and there are people that use sponges. But then to make sure your foundation doesn't end up cakey, I would definitely recommend you to use a sponge. The sponges have they just do a better job at smoothing the product to get into your skin the way it's supposed to look like skin, than brushes or finger. Because the brushes, sometimes depending on the brush you're using, if it's not that good of a quality, and the makeup you're using, it might end up giving you like brush lines if you don't know how to blend well. So I would say, especially for beginners, go for a sponge. The sponges I use are from Keny. I use this one for my concealer because it has the one cut face happening here. You can see this, so it helps me get like right inside the corner of the eye when I want to. And I use this other shape here as my foundation shape. So you have to make sure that they are wet, because when they are wet, then they are even softer than they are now, and they do a better job at blending your foundation or any other cream product you're putting on your face. So I use this for foundation because I love the fact that it's flat at the bottom. I'm going to put it on my hand here so you can see. I love the fact that it's flat at the bottom, because then this gives me a lot of work room and it just makes it easier. I don't have to press anything to reach any corners. I just have to tap on the skin, and this gives me exactly what I need for my concealers, and I can use the bottom to apply other products also on my face. So get yourself really good quality sponges, beauty blenders, makeup sponges. This is the Puff Puff sponge from Keny.com. So check them out. Okay, check them out. Shameless plug. Check them out. My last point for today for this particular tip of foundations is that make sure you use a setting spray at the end of your makeup. That is a tip that helps me every time, because it's not every day that I do my makeup and it comes out the way I want it to look. Sorry. So some days I would get up and be excited and do my makeup, and then it turns out like a little bit ashy-ish, and I'm just like, no, I don't like this. So one thing that I noticed that helps me fix a lot of my makeup problems at the end, like they say, trust the process. What helps me fix it is a good setting spray. That helps put, it helps put the makeup together. It puts you, like, it just how will I say, it just marries all of your makeup together. So all of the contour, the highlights, the powders, the creams, the foundations, everything you've put on your skin just like looks better. And especially if you made a mistake or for some reason you used a lot of powder, this is going to help it to like melt into the skin and look way better. Just make sure that you use a good setting spray to melt all of your makeup together, and that is going to make sure that your makeup looks like skin and there will be no cakiness anywhere on your face. So 5 tips on how to avoid cakey foundation or cakey makeup in general, how to make your makeup look like skin and flawless, and you'll be looking nice and everybody be admiring. Anyway, so those are my 5 points, and I hope that you're going to take this tip and try it, and then I promise you, when you do it just the way I showed you and explained to you, you are going to see a very big difference in your makeup look at the end of the day. Let me know in the comment section, how do you do your foundation routine? If you try what I said, did you look better than what you were doing before? What were you doing differently? Let me know in the comment section. Let's chat in the comment section below. We've come to the end of this foundation tip video, and thank you guys so much for watching to this point. If you have gotten to this point, make sure to like the video, okay, and subscribe below, click the little bell so you get notified every time I post something new. And before I leave, I'm going to let you guys have my next video somewhere here on the screen. I always do that. I always leave something for you, and click that, binge watch, join the family, and you are very, 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 very welcome. Thank you guys, and love you all. Bye.